So, day 5, the first day with trying this with my mom and just actually going a little bit into what meditation and creative visualization is, and it ended up in a disaster. It ended up in a spiritual discussion for, I'm not kidding, at least 2 hours, and she's a very strict Christian, and so yoga is not really the thing that should support or be, but because I'm into that, she's sort of trying, and I really appreciate that and really respect. But when it comes to the questions, and then you see, I perceive them a lot like I'm kind of like being attacked, because it's, oh, why do you believe this? Why do you think this is correct? So you think that we all have a rebirth or reincarnations, and you don't like Jesus, and it's a lot of that. And for a good 2 hours I was fine, and it was just a lot. It's like really a lot. So I like I said, good night. I'm going to the room and just have a good. I really wanted just to rest my brain because I was feeling it so much on the fire. And then she walked in again and she's like, oh, but you know what? I had a last question. And I was like, I really just want to rest. And yeah, why are you upset? And, it goes into a little fight like that. And she broke down. I was like, this is so much. I'm like, I just really want to rest. But anyways, not so much about the fight and everything. I realized I didn't notice a couple of things, that a lot of the things that we disagree on, and also like what I say, it's still a lot of my old pain body from my childhood, where I was always, we weren't allowed to watch TV. TV was evil. And like if you watch TV, you were, like you would have to feel guilty. If you had any relationships later, like when I had relationships with my boyfriends, or if you're not married, you're guilty. Your shame on you, and you bring shame to our family and such stuff. So when I get into these discussions with her, it just gets always me to the point where I'm like, why do you even ask these questions? Like, if you want me to feel guilty, you can. Well, I'm not gonna feel guilty anymore, but I suppose somewhere within me, it's still somewhere there, because I'm like, not so much the guilt, but the feeling of I'm not enough. Because when she asked the questions, I just basically, I have to defend my, why am I doing meditation, why am I doing yoga, why am I doing it this way, why am I not doing it the Bible way. So it's always kind of like a tense war of like within me, of like feeling, okay, I have to somehow hold this, not to break down, because it really hurts me that I'm not accepted the way I am, and this is the way I am now, and I might change my way of being and living in 5 years. Maybe I won't be doing yoga meditation. Maybe I'll be, up in a space or whatever, and I see how over the years it does change. I think probably when I become more sure about myself, and I was quite sure. I think now it was just like too much, like really physically, when someone is just talking at you so much, and I was like, I just need silence. But yeah, I hope, according to Kyle sees, when you cry out your old story. So I hope some of this part of like me not being accepted by my mother has left. I really hope, because I don't want to fucking be there. It's a disaster. And Probably another thing is that I always I have a good imagination dose in my brain, and I was imagining this to go smoother, like, because we can agree on something. Then I was like, oh, like, let's just do this, creative imagination visualization. So you can create and imagine and do it through Jesus and God, and I do it through the universe, and whatever, all be friends, unicorns. But it's not, and it's difficult to accept that it's not like I imagined. So easy, so nice, so smooth flow. And yeah, the first thing what I want to do is like go somewhere out, because I want to be out of the situation and just like in my brain, just like air my brain out. And then I just sat down. I'm like, okay, let's just cry this shit out and understand why am I so hurt and why it's upsetting me. So I'm still with that, and I think that's not the job for creating visualization, even though I could probably use that. I could just be affirming my relationship with my mother is amazing, which it is, and that 2 hour we have an amazing time together. It's very, very, at this point, very difficult, but I know tomorrow and the next moment is always new. So another imagination. Yeah, anyhow, that's my bumble mumble. Day 5, a complete disaster. But it is what it is. Tons of love anyways, to myself, to you.